The Nosferatu. Man, what's with the goofy names? Guess they're real big on blue oyster cult. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned about existence long ago. Does she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexions, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big and eyesore as the worst of them, but he's no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents, connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned rolling terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me, the ones with the awful furniture. What connections does he have? I was just getting to that. D'Angelo does odd job for Cartier, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden, the kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. It's on a case right now. Something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with that, dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might just be the thing. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now come the two more exotic proposals. Exotic? As if the blood match in the vampire detective were business as usual. You may have heard about the Ventrue before. They are a wild clan in touch with their beasts in a way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Nominally, they haven't been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one candidate I'd like you to meet has a strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Isabel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999. The very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle. Prospect Park. Isabel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. You mentioned siblings? Actual biological brothers and sisters? No, not in the model sense. The gangrel sometimes uses the word brute to indicate child begat by the same sire. As you can probably tell, they do take the whole animal motif quite far. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but they're rumored to be a tight-knit group. The gangrel often act on instinct, so when you meet Tamika or her siblings, be careful not to slight them. They are easily provoked and can hold a grudge for a long time. I speak from experience. So you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else. And who knows, perhaps you'll find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you. Though, this is one I don't make like the kindred who call herself Hope. She is a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries, we consider them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It's no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable. And that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope, specifically, She is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe. I believe it's called in Lower Manhattan. Great Crow has the address. What did you learn about Hope? One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tap into the current fads among kind. Not something I am personally interested in, as I'm sure you would know by now. I take his word for it at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cardio visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your service. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars nearby, near the building as Gregory hands you the key. It is a rather inconspicuous compact car, a decent looking, if not luxurious ride. Stay safe, Sarah Kimia. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you have had for the past few nights. Blessing or burden, time will tell. With Elizabeth dressed in hand, you consider your next move. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a coffee bar these days, but behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some poor kids wasting the late evening hours on colorful online games. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. You approach the man and tell him, "I'm looking for Hope." He released a soft chuckle. "Yeah, you and me both." The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cigarette, sizing you up and down silent. After a long, awkward moment, when you are ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. "Come, right this way." He heads back into the cafe and you follow his lead. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts the gates from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. Really. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through the labyrinth of sterile gray corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Feels like you are traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a known source of pale light. A computer screen in the distance, beckoning you to come closer. As you do, you hear the door shutting behind your back, and a short chuckle echoing behind it. It is the place. Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, you type in your name. Better play it straight and prove you have nothing to hide as a gesture of goodwill. After a few seconds, the chat window opens, and messages start appearing on the screen in quick successions. Identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. The chat goes silent, ever seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick you out. I'm looking for hope. Who the fuck are you? There was meant to be a safe channel. Uh-oh. Presence try to get the chat under control. You have had enough of these trash talking rooms. Time to teach them some respect. Your blood fires up. Ancient power starts coursing through your veins. Fingers tapping the keyboard buttons on their own. You people better stay quiet if you know what's good for you. You have no idea who you're messing with. You will obey me. The chat goes silent once again, then it explodes. Ahaha, what am I looking at here? LOL. It's that. Guess your powers don't work online, go figure. You know your cheeks would turn up blood right now if they still could. Fuck Sarah Kimmy, wow. A split second after you read the message, you feel someone's arm tightening around your neck. The violent return to reality catches you off guard. A chill panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily. You've come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't normal human you're dealing with. Last words? Sophie sent me here. Blindly. The hand holding you chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle. Or I will break your windpipe on my phone, which would even worse for you. Which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a Camarilla shudder and light flashing. Did I just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder. Pretty please. The mysterious assailant loosened their grip on you and gently pushed you away. You quickly turned to take a good look at them. Let me just finish this. It's a pale, blonde woman in her 20s, giving you slightly judgmental looks away, rapidly tapping with her phone screen. First, you notice her outrageous outfit seemingly thrown together on rather thrift store finds. Then you take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. What is this now? At first glance, it all seems aimless. Has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second. Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry. That's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission. And she's back to her phone. With her relatively small bill, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead. And even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes up as an eccentric, curious presence. It shoots you another glance, noticing you still cautious of her. I need to rest a little bit, sorry. Calm yourself, man. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just a feel stupid saying, oh well, vibe check? What? Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet, and in a dangerous situation. I'll say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you have probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantry, but come to think of it, I may have skipped too many of those. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie. I still can't believe you got so mad online. You actually tried to use your powers on people talking trash about you from who knows where. Jesus. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chat continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday news, no longer relevant to anything. Look. If we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say to. What are you doing? All the time, she asks. Note herself, she really loves the sounds of her own voice. Sophie Langley sent me. Here? Hope rolls her eyes. Yeah, you have said that already. You think I'm an idiot or something? I'm going to say this only once. Please, please, please don't be boring. She starts tapping at her phone again. After a few seconds, some kind of realization dawns on her face and she turns back. Wait. Shit. Are you the new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she would start building a network. Your ambition tells me that could really come in handy when, but Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts to much attention, piss off, but then again, fucking care. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself. Only parts of it is audible. Is it just you? Do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain, it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you. She focused half of her attention back on it. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I proposed a little game. Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet, with meat hooks hanging above. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seems to be a piece of elaborate S&M equipment and a Camarilla. Wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She noticed your confusions. Take it or leave it. Buddy, you just became kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. She is serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap. 9 minutes is now never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the Masquerade high. Content warnings. Oh yes, so do you take the job? If I have to. How close I felt back than you thought was possible. If I have to, not exactly an inspiring person. She began to sigh, but steps quickly and reflects. Sorry, but I get it. You might have gotten a bad first impression of me or whatever. The promises will prove surprisingly educational. Alright, give me a second. She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before, then urged you to sit down. The explanation of the moderator's functionality is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the trial, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. Is it a sex show? It is a sex show, isn't it? Your voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? You pick up the chat. We're not a worthy queen, fucking A. Hell yeah, time to fuck Angel, TOT. Ignore. You attempt to try out the kicking band prompts as soon as possible. But obviously you won't punish someone for later dirty talk. Thank you. Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Sarah Keeping. Lama. Oh, I'm sorry, her settings used to dead earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe they and Hope came up with one specifically for you, who knows. You decide to stay silent. Eventually, people start riffling on you and focus entirely on the style of the show. Alright, let's start this one with a bang, shall we? Queen, oh boy, she's going to do it. Though this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable face in front of the mirror. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to the sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see and then bites. The face immediately turns to a horrifying gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash her by, but one thing's for sure, no ordinary human could cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffers such a wound, you would expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope is technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing Vita over her hand to maximize the impact of the violent image. Then she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena, fisting on the corpse. The contrast of her behavior with a look on Instagram models is stunning. Once she's done, she reverses the wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gesture with her right arm as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after, it's no longer there. It's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing wrong ever happened to her. Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show. While you're wondering what the hell's going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your wider face and turns in your direction. How's that for an opening? You shooting snuff? Come on, just because it's transgressive violence doesn't mean it's snuff. The breath went up, all was silence. Now come on, if I was shooting snuff, I would mend the wound. If you expected a strip show, yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live stream digital ad. The erotic subject is there, of course. You pick up the chat, they're going wild. She did that for free. I'd love to lick your wrist cream my phone engine. Nothing more arousing than a beautiful woman tittering on the edge of oblivion, a rose petal dancing in the eye of a violent hurricane. But eroticism is not the key here, it's vampirism. It is a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. bets her fangs again in a devious grin. But I have no interest in utter destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Many is just one of those. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, don't worry, the audience can see and hear the things I allow them to. We can tell from it. Just remember to moderate the chart, will you? Here risks of violating the Masquerade. What a joke! She's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers, still speechless. You turn your attention to the screen. I think I'm going to kick someone. You give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. A few seconds later, Hope groans loudly. What the hell did you just kick Master Chis for? It's not for people to show the excellent like this from time to time. Maybe he'll interpret as Cisco inviting him and be grateful, but stop messing up. Oh well. A special message appears on the chat block telling me somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcased the label to the Camarilla for everyone to see. Hope pours all the contents of the bag into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood, but I wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, it pays well enough. You don't even bother to tell her this is not what you're thinking about. Save to assume she knows. So, what do you know about the crane grid and the internet? Have you told you anything? While she's waiting for someone to respond to her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a conversation. Is there a vampire internet? If you find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. See? Some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We try to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. On how many things she can concentrate at one time exactly. And one day the NSA got it. Turned out elders never really got the hang of proper security practice. All the decisions they used to smear on the screen didn't exactly work as advertised. Then of course all the other three-letter intelligence agencies in the world got the intel. And a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies while pushed 9-11 times. The Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remnants of our network serve as government's honeypots, kept alive to attract fletchings and hunt them down. You post a certain keyword on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there's a certain thrill in becoming an online person without attracting attention from the authorities. She stretched on the bed. I hope you're still monitoring the chat. Of course not. You're not as good as dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent message. Home on like my favorite home. I'm going to kick that guy. Ban him. This kind of nickname always suggests trouble. You get rid of them permanently. Good job. She's keeping close tabs on you. Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to Camarilla, the network got compromised. The elders went batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal famous and lovers got off. That goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent weapon usage could result in being punished with fine of death. Thanks to his death steal, the next goal has just gotten successfully funded. She raised her hand, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 1 finger up. The counter ends and she immediately disappeared from the screen, like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates that there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, this way you can make out some unusual glitching where her silhouette should be. But it could very well be just placebo. You ready for this? 3, 2, 1. A flash of Camarilla the instant she reappears on the screen. She takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? You realize you're way out of your depth. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Those were some wild times, especially in New York. But most of them have no clue as to our real nature. A lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as national threats, and since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around it, looking for easy PR victories. The last SI raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one, stirred the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, NYC is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War II, and the camp as a whole got rid of and swore off the internet. Of course, they're not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a gray zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon. But let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is a real threat, no joke. But in many sense, the darkest place is right under the candle. You take another look at the screen. We want blood. How about some bad stuff? Can you do some bad stuff? Can you show us next time? It's been a long holiday. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up. And let's ignore the guy. The guy seems to be having the time of his life. Good on you, buddy. You're just going to let this guy shit up the chart? Come on, it's your job to react to spam. Oh, last time I did that, you just fucked me over. Oh, fuck, I just fucked it up. She lets out a dejected sigh and kicks the guy from the room herself. Can't imagine she's too satisfied with how he handled the situation. The show goes on. Well, yeah. Fun fact about being a vampire is we can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can't even orgasm. We can't even cry but all the tears of blood. It's something I always dreamed to do when I was 14. So romantic, and it drives them crazy. As per her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The child goes away. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for. Am I supposed to kick this guy? And kick. Just to be clear, you realize what we're thinking is a blatant breach of Masquerade, right? I honestly expected you to live on from somebody like that, but you haven't, have you? You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed in the chat. Kick him. One more kick, one more familiar message. That's the same message I sent out the last time. It's copy pasting it or something. Ban him. After you ban him, you hear Hope's voice. Good job handling that guy. Right, if nothing else works out, seems like you fit this job at the very least. In any case, the last goal has just been funded. It's time for the great finale. This is what you've been waiting for, right? Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the Camarilla, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers. You wanted blood? Come out into the streets. Claw out your neighbor's throat, slash their veins, and drink up. Hope's expression becomes absolutely horrifying and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they were possessed. Liberate yourself from the shackles of ordinary morality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. What the hell is she doing to those people? What have you gotten yourself into? Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world. She starts joking violently for a second and then falls down on the bed like a marionette that just had its strings severe. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. And when she does, the room goes dark again. Alright, that's enough. Instead of taking the last shot, she does something with her phone. The stream ends and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet. Let me take over. The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She has already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you. What the fuck just happened? Guess the show's over. Everyone relax and go home. Oh, and I was almost ready to come, bros. I swear my father prays one day I'll find you, kick the ever-living shit out of you. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You have caught a glimpse of her acting this way, but only now have you start to figure it out. Wait a minute, does it mean I'm immortal? I'm bored. I'm separated from most vampires in this city by a generational chasm. And I'm so goddamn city. And I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet, it was to be my only friend. Years ago I started researching two powers, collective unconsciousness, or the mumbo jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality. And I decided to experiment. The show was fake. A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of the pop culture commentariat, a viral shit poster, a cryptocurrency expert. All my internet selves start signal boosting each other, paving the way for the new ones. I became a one-woman empire surrounded by legions of psychophants. The chat was fake. Some may think of it as dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they're bearing. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. Her constant tapping at the phone even during the show. Somehow, she's capable of impersonating an entire chat room. I don't even have a self that could dissociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit to process trends and support them once I deem worthy. There was no Masquerade violation. She was showing up her skills all along. She puts you into a world of pulp fiction. The same way she was testing you back when she attacked you from the back. Damn, she's good at this. Of course, you can just ignore what I'm saying. And this time just another deranged mock caving. But hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in this 21st century. If there ever was an era that demanded image of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it's this one. Although for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? Need some time to mull it over, sure. No, sorry to disappoint. But yet, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you? She puts away her phone for the first time since you have met her and gives you a good hard look. Guess I can give it a shot, yeah? You're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kinda cute. Don't worry, no more modding jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news. She grabs your arms and starts letting you out of her room. I put you through enough shit next time. I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. She leads you through a labyrinth of grey corridors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through it. This city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to a place Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. She leads you out the building into the back alleys. Even if someone else rules the streets, we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she lets you look. You assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally. The power of hope. Whew. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago. You need to rest, sir. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. There's a letter slipped under the door in a cream color, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter is clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned. Rich or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is small and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You are cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as a euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essential of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before you were much younger. You marvel at this Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You quickly learn this is an essential skill for a vampire. How to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you are meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is striking at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Does God still listen to you? It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Whew. Fatalistically, take a step then another. I'm not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head bowed down in silent prayer. A footstep echo on the phone. He turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, and fierce strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are one pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into the cathedral. Oh, it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's a man, the priest. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Confront the priest. The only way to understand this painful feeling is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control: fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions away. Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like you would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. How are you doing this? I'm afraid I don't understand. It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent and replied, "You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You are just another sad, confused, lost soul." You turn around and stagger, only feeling like yourself. Once you're back on the street outside, you stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemy seems to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if a little archaic, dark hair, handsome like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Did you do this to me? No, absolutely not. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segel. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. He offers his hand to you. His handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? He points to a park bench nearby. In darkness, because of a broken street light, where you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. He sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, consider how to respond as clear, but not send the invitation to come in and orchestrate this little setup. Why did you invite me? What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? No shared connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now, the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I want you to meet Father Anthony. Or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? It was the priest. At first I thought it was because I was in the church, but then I realized this came from the priest. I think you're right, it does come from him. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief while you're one of the damned. Do you ever wonder if that's the role of a vampire in God's creation? Stuff thing, of course you have wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can't go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is sacred, hidden away, and left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, he takes your hands, presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move, I thought. Is that how God intended us to be? That's a natural explanation. Oh, I don't believe in the supernatural. That's a natural explanation for all this. We just don't know it. Maybe there is, I don't know either. But I know that Father Anthony's fate is real. Whew. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know fate is real. I know it's because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about fate and our kind. How do you know any of these stories are true? I don't. How could I know? This is what fate is. You have to believe something. Good and evil, right and wrong, love and hate. I believe we're damned. I also believe that there's always hope, grace. Father Anthony's fate shows me the way. It's so easy for us to lose ourselves in an occult speculation. Some of our kind revere Cain, others the lit. Many in the Camarilla place their faith in the invisible guidance of the Methuselahs who are supposed to watch over us. Yet I wonder how much that really matters when compared to the character of a good man. This is a lot to take in. All this means I don't know what to believe. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met my father, Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside. This is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity? He asked patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you have thought it through. And leave him sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experience. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true, but what does that mean? We still have time for another one. I think I'll try to talk to Tamika. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the soldiers and Service Memorial Arc. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you have seen it countless times in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the northwest gate into Prospect Park. The park is an usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Lenny Sauce fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees, quickly but evenly paced, but most likely a late-night joker. No vampire would take kindly to you fitting in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. Nah, let's not do it. Fitting opportunity, midnight joker? No. Let's check out the Grand Gold Haven. You head south, delving deeper into the less frequent section of the park. Passing a babbling stream, you make your way into the ravine. Home to some of the oldest trees in the park, it is the place to go when you want to get away from the crowd and enjoy some one-on-one time with nature. And that is during the day. At night it's bound to be a gangrot's delight. Making your way through the brush, you come across a rocky crevice hidden behind a warped chain link fence. He will leap over the fence in a single bound, trying to land as quietly as eccentrically possible. The crevice looks deep enough for you to think about twice jumping in. Instead, you peer into the darkness while listening intently. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A claw shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. It looks pretty animalistic, alright, but it's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it is a he. Just as if about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bush nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest. Stay out of it, Tam. I smell him first. Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you. You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie. Tamika looks at you expectantly. Easy there. I'm not looking for a fight. Confirm badass, I'm not looking for a fight. Tamika tilts her head in a way that's barely noticeable and yet strangely expressive. She seems disappointed. The man loosened up, his lip twisting into a wry smile. Clearly, you just give him the confidence boost he needed. Funny, you don't look like pussy. You don't smell like one either, so why are you acting like one, huh? Well, guess what? You ain't getting off that is chicken shit. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her face glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that is firm yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Declan. I'll handle it from here. The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment, then he turns back towards you. Fine, they're not worth the effort anyway. Having said his piece, Raoul retreats into the shadows. Although if you were to guess, he is likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point, Alec. I could use your help. Short story, I'm new here and I'm looking for a chance to leave my mark. Maybe shake things up in the process. I could use your help. Why me? My source claims you are capable. Are they wrong? No, I guess not. But if you are so well informed, you should know that I don't haul myself out for mercenary work. This is different. I am not hiring. I'm offering you my help should you ever need it, and in time, perhaps also my friendship. Do I strike you as someone who needs a friend? You're looking for a way out. You strike me as someone looking for a way out of this powerful status. Is that why you're here? To break me out? Are you my ticket out here? You can live with or without me. Look, I'm not stupid. I know you can live anytime with or without me. I'm just asking for a couple nights of your time. So what's this gonna be? For a brief moment, she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes, as if trying to size you up. Finally, she looks away. It looks like she has come to a decision. Just so that we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, you have that earnest look about you. Naive, almost. I can tell you believe what you're saying. So I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here and we'll see what you really are made of. And with that, Tamika disappeared into the night. That went pretty well, all things considered. Alright guys, I'll stop recording here. We'll come back next time. I can't talk anymore. My throat hurts.